Have you ever faced a moment where no matter what you did, what you tried to do, regardless to how much you planned for, or how much effort that you put in, you couldn't change the outcome? Life doesn't always follow the plan. Sometimes, despite everything we do, we find ourselves at the mercy of forces greater than we understand. It's in these moments where we feel powerless, that we're faced with the choice of giving over to despair or leaning into faith and resilience. Over the last 30 years, I've learned that life isn't fair, that there isn't any rule that can keep you from living in the worst part of a bad day, and that even the strongest people are susceptible. I can't say for sure that everyone is aware of this, but I suspect they are. I suspect deep down to the core, everybody knows it to be true. We live in a temperamental existence. So for those of us that learn how to exist within chaos, manage to hold on to hope, even when logic says that there is none, then at least we have that. Because in the end, we were here. We had our moment. And God bless those who can't control their own destiny. If you don't know, my name is Chad Joshua, and I am working towards writing a 100-song catalog. I write songs about populism, freedom, and liberty, and this is my artist channel that I use to promote those songs. In my free time, I like to have these chats in order to consider the things that we could do that would better help us strive towards the things that we would like to see to accomplishment. So if control isn't the answer, and if we don't have it, then what do we do? How do we keep going when we know what's coming next and we haven't anything that could change what is about to happen? So over the entirety of my life, a long block, more than a few decades, I've always done my best to see things with rose-colored glasses, efforting myself as well as I could to be an optimistic person. And while I am blessed with all sorts of good fortune that I dare not make less of, I have taken my fair share of crushing blows, so much so that I don't even know how I'm standing. And it's funny to me how we seem oriented to cling to the illusions of control and stability. But why is it that we cling to certainty and we do so fiercely and even despite learned behavior? My best guess on this is that internally, deep down, subconsciously, we equate all of that being out of control with danger and threat. So in our childlike brain, rather than looking the lion directly in its mouth, precisely so we don't have to, we're left with a belief that controlling everything is the key to happiness. Problem is, we can't. But at varying lengths, we all attempt to do just that. We crave stability. The human mind does. It wants predictability, and the best way to capture that is through control. Society teaches us from the beginning that success comes from having everything planned out, from acquiring assets to keep at your disposal to leverage against any incoming chaos. But reality, it doesn't care about this at all. But it's almost as if that we don't have any other card to play. So we keep playing the same one, saying about craziness being the act of hitting your head on the wall again and again and expecting a different result. We do all of that because when life disrupts our expectations, we experience frustration, anxiety, and even hopelessness. And in some cases, those are the correct emotions for the circumstance. Life is like a river. Sometimes we steer, sometimes we row, but other times we just have to hold on. The idea of control, it may be comforting, but it is often an illusion. It's always an illusion. It's just that today might not be as dangerous as tomorrow. It has taken me all of 30 years to come to an assuredness that the goal isn't to control everything. It isn't even in our interest to try, but rather it's to navigate through it all with gratitude for your existence and a faith because of it, and with resilience and determination regardless to whatever is about to happen next. Imagine trying to fill your hands with sand, holding on to it securely as you can. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers. But when you open your hand, it stays in rest. I don't know that all of the experiences are intended for us to grow. People say that. It may be true. It's a very romantic and idyllic way to consider the nature of the life that we live. But no matter who says what they know, nobody knows anything. But I can say that if there's something to be taken from it as a useful tool to better survive in the struggles that you have to face, then by all means, make good use of it. Because there is something to the slow process of leaving behind our ego as it relates to our self-preservation. And the more that we can relate to ourselves as a moment, participant, a piece of this all, then the less we take personally how upside down or turned around that we might be by the circumstance. Because there is something that can be empowering when we shift from asking, why is this happening to me, and we're able to move more humbly through it, even learning from it, if that's relatable. It's fear that thrives in uncertainty. It's peace that allows us to move forward, even if we dare not live the outcome that's just ahead. When we let go of need to control, we make space for God, for growth, and we embody grace. And in many instances, moments that we feel lost are often the ones that are positioning us for something greater. When we choose faith over fear, it does not remove the challenges. I don't know that we can pray the challenges away. In my experience, it hasn't ever been the case. In my estimation, the more humble prayer is one where we pray for peace and grace as we face a destiny that we don't control. So while approaching challenges this way doesn't remove them, but it changes how we experience them. Being strong through a circumstance, it doesn't mean that you have a plan or a guarantee. It means you're at peace with the outcome, as terrible as it might be. There's a beauty in existence that we often overlook. We are so caught up in societal nonsense. And while by some degree it may be necessary in order for a group of people to be able to cooperate, it does take us away from comprehending and considering the simplistic beauty in the fact that we exist. If you stripped away titles, accomplishments, and achievements, would you still believe that your existence was of value? Society, and probably the globalist elite, have tied our worth to productivity in order to ensure that we remain in good service to their system. Being human is enough. Every life, no matter how small, is significant, is impactful, brilliant, and a blessing. And we don't have to control anything to have a meaningful existence. It's like having an opportunity to be is like winning a lottery with infinite odds against you. Simply being here, continuing forward matters. A candle in the dark doesn't have to be the brightest light to make a difference. It only has to keep burning. What would happen if you started to see your life as valuable regardless the circumstance? Hope, it isn't blind optimism. It's a choice of how you will exist. No one controls their destiny entirely, but everyone controls their perspective. Wherever you are right now, whatever uncertainty that you are facing, keep moving, keep being, keep existing, because that is enough. Through all of the uncontrollable, you keep your head up, and I'm going to keep my head up. And if you haven't had a chance to hear my new song, you can listen to it here. And we'll talk again soon.